So Michelle, right before we like about 30 minutes ago, I drank almost a half a bottle of Pepto-Bismol
Oh no. Why?
because I've discovered that the way I am built, it is not during times of extreme like stress and sleeplessness that I get like sick to my stomach and my body.
Mhm.
It's always at the time that it ends.
Okay. I
Um,
understand that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll like be tense and have stomach problems while I'm stressed, but like when it's over, it seems like that's when all the chickens come home to roost for a minute
Mhm.
before I'm finally relieved.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just kind of, it builds up and
Yeah.
then yeah.
So, right before we started recording, like an hour and some change ago, I won a contest, a
Yay.
short film contest. And I want to say I've never won a contest before. Um,
Oh, really?
I've
Huh.
lost a lot of contests, but I've never won one.
Wow.
In fact, and in the past I have mobilized my like social media to help me win a contest and still lost.
Mhm.
Including that one time that they did that social media thing for that competition to win a job guest hosting a TV station where I actually won the social media portion and they'd still never even contacted me. Like, I
Wow.
think they really wanted a blonde woman to win, like the last three winners, which were also all blonde women.
That's not up to them.
But anyway, so what happens is I entered this contest. This well, it's kind of not. I mean, it's a contest, but it's technically like a film festival. You know, you submit your movies, your short. I submitted a short called Christmas Presents, which is a short I'm very proud of. It's been about 5 years old, and I submitted it in friggin' April. I totally forgot about it. I got a selection notice in like September, and all the email was like, "Hey, you've been accepted," and that was it. Well, it was like, "Hey, you've been accepted. Send us a link to download the movie."
Mhm.
So I did. And then I get a message on Friday, the second week of January, or the start of the second week or whatever. I get a message on a Friday and it just says like, well, you're going up for vote on Saturday tomorrow on Saturday, and you'll have until Wednesday to, try to bring your social media together and get the most votes. So I was like, oh, okay. And now this is where I'm gonna be like super honest. It was through it was for PBS. On certain affiliate stations of PBS, they have a show called Real 13, which
Hmm.
is where they show it's a block of programming where they show a classic older movie and then they show a somewhat newer independent movie. From
Okay.
what I researched, it within 15 years old independent movie.
Okay. Yeah.
But they do a thing on their website where they always put up 3 shorts and let the audience decide what next week's short's going to be. So when you go to the webpage, you see the
Oh.
3 shorts
Mhm.
and you can watch each of them on Vimeo, which is a service that is much lamer than YouTube. And then but it's for professionals. And it costs money. And then you click vote. So I was like, okay, whatever, until I was like, it's been so long since I signed up for this. I really need to like read what I agreed to and the rules and everything.
Mhm.
And not only is it going to be like on broadcast television, which is good, you know, but there's there's a $250 cash prize. So then I was like, this is what I live for now. I must win this. And of course, I didn't look that up until the voting had already been open for 12 hours.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so there were 2 other shorts. I'm not going to name them by name because I don't want to, like, in case I start getting jovial, I don't want to insult anybody directly.
Yeah.
But do you like that? I don't want to insult anybody directly. But there were 2 shorts. One that was like a very artsy animation short, and one that was a comedy short.
Mhm.
And when I finally started asking people, "Hey, please vote," I noticed that the comedy short already had 81 votes and the animated had 0 and I had like 2. So I so I post about it and post about it, and in less than 2 hours we had like 100 votes. So we were like surpassing the other short
Mhm.
immediately. And I gotta say, thank you everybody who hangs out with me on social media and chats with me and was willing to take literally even just 3 seconds out of your day to click on the link and click vote on the Christmas presents page. Really meant a lot to me. We never lost our lead. we came close to losing it though. Like they would gain on us and get to like within 20 votes or whatever. But
Yeah.
we always seem to get further ahead until we won by like 200 or 325 votes. But that's not
Yay.
important. But no, so I really am incredibly thankful. By the time this episode airs, the short will have already aired on Reel 13, and my PBS affiliate doesn't carry it, so I
Oh.
mean, so I don't know which PBS affiliates carry it, and it seemed kind of confusing. So, but I am honored, and it's one of my proudest short films, so I really do think it's awesome that like a bunch of unsuspecting people are gonna get to watch that on PBS. That's kind of neat,
Yeah,
you know?
it's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So plus, now you want to know the joys of show business. Now in 90 days at some point I'll get paid. The contract said 90 days from the end of the
Yay.
competition.
That's only 3 months
That's
maybe.
only 3 months maybe. Um Also, like, I don't want to be a jerk, but like the PBS people, like, they never followed up, and then they sent the message saying like, here's what's up, and they put the wrong date for the end of the contest. They put
Oh.
the last contest's date.
Oh, yeah, like they didn't
Yeah,
actually
they just
fix
didn't.
their
Yeah, so they had to
template.
follow up with like, oh, I'm sorry, I meant this date. And I was
Mhm.
just like, whoa, okay. And it was like, make sure to promote on your social media. So, but I also feel bad because the animated short got
Got
to
like
like 30,
43.
30
No,
or
I think
40.
they hit 43. I
Okay,
was
good.
watching. I
I
felt
felt, yeah.
really, really bad.
I don't think that artist ever promoted it at all or
Yeah.
asked any of his friends or family to vote for it. But I want to say the reason I'm so tired is not because it's not just because I'm a stress ball and that's how I am, although that is part of it. The reason I'm so tired is people don't understand how much work goes into like truly aggressively campaigning to get people to do something, especially when it's like campaign. To me, campaigning is about like getting a vote. It's not about getting like a sale. To me,
Mhm.
that's sales. Sales is getting somebody to spend money. Campaigning is getting somebody to do an action
Mhm.
that doesn't necessarily cost them anything. To me, but campaigning is like a part of sales in a way. They're very similar.
Sure.
And but I had a friend who was like, wow, you got all those votes just from because the total votes were like, I don't know, 1,400 votes.
Mhm.
um so people are like, wow, you got all those votes from sharing on Facebook and blah blah blah. I'm like, I think the grand total was 480 individual messages
Wow.
asking people I was acquaintances with if they wouldn't mind voting
Yeah.
for me, on top of sharing on Facebook and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
that's the ugly nitty gritty of like, of promotion and getting the word out and getting yourself out there. Is like, you can't just hit post to Facebook and just hope for the best.
Mhm.
It doesn't work.
Mhm. Yeah.
People glide right past it. I remember when I used to play music shows. I used to get a lot of stink eye from local musicians because I would get a crowd to come to most of my shows. But the thing that drove me crazy is that I noticed I would get that kind of stink eye, and it's like, I don't even get the crowd you guys get. I bring an entirely different crowd than the crowd that goes to shows downtown.
Yeah.
Like, I get people to come to my show. I don't take people from your shows, and that's why they
Mhm.
were always
Yeah.
struggling, because they have like a finite pool of
Mhm.
people they're hoping will come to their shows. But like, I remember vividly so many, so many times sitting sitting on my toilet, just text messaging like on a break at work, sitting on the toilet, text messaging like 50, 60, 70 people one by one, not copy and paste, because I hate that and I don't want to. So, it's like if I'm writing my friend Jerry, I am legitimately asking my friend Jerry to do a thing. I'm not just flooding him with a request. It's, hey Jerry, how are you? We've been friends for a while, and I was just wondering if you could do this thing for me, or I'm throwing a show and I'd really love to see you there, or whatever it might be. But like, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's really hard and exhausting and stressful. And I think a lot of people aren't willing to go through that.
Yeah.
And I can't say I blame them, but what's the most extreme you've went to promote a show?
Like, not that extreme, honestly. Like, because I like feel really bad asking people for things, and I don't think that I'm worth it, so I don't. I mean, honestly though, like I did like really, really try very, very hard to promote. Like, I set up a show for a band a bunch of years ago before I was like, I'm never ever gonna do that again. That was a terrible idea. But like, I like flyered things. I like asked everybody, and then like nobody came anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, unfortunately, you're not going to get like a really interesting answer from me.
So what you're telling me is that when it was for another band, you were a lot more outgoing because it didn't, feel as awkward, or you felt like you shouldn't do it for you, but you could do it for somebody else.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so people listening, if you ever need to torture Michelle to get information out of her, you just torture another person in front of her. That's the only way you're going to get information out of her.
Pretty much totally right. So
just cliff notes, for anybody out there who may need to torture Michelle for information. You should just give her a hot mug of tea and then torture another person in front of her. That pretty much do it.
Yeah. I just figure that's how it would be for everyone, right? Like, I'm not going to watch someone get hurt for me.
I would rather not be tortured, but I also it would be very difficult to watch another person be tortured. I'd be like, this is very unpleasant. All of this is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I would do being tortured either, but I think you'd be fine. Can give it a shot. Yeah, thanks.
Well, whenever you say something and I joke and say like, I'm just gonna punch you in the face, you're like, that's okay. Do what you need to.
Yeah, it's okay.
So I don't know if physical violence would work on you or not. So I'm just kind of like, woo, my mind is kind of cloudy, because I'm not gonna lie, I worried pretty much the whole time, and I was campaigning pretty much every minute. I would take an hour or two off here and there to watch a movie, and obviously I'd go to sleep, but I actually was like sleeping noticeably less too. Oh. Well, and I wasn't gonna say anything, but the guy, I'm not gonna get into specifics, but the guy who was the runner-up may have said some stuff, may have talked some smack on social media, and I don't know the guy, but of course I stalked him to see how he was promoting his short, because I'm not stupid. I wanted to see what he was doing, so that if he was doing something smarter than me, I would add that to my repertoire. So, but he said some stuff. He talked a little bit of smack, and he kind of was a bit condescending. Also, he's a New York City type, and that alone, I kind of want to put somebody like that in their place. I know that's terrible, but I'm from the Midwest. I work in show business in the Midwest, and I am very used to being treated like a second-class citizen, especially from peers who have no right to pull that shit. Like people who will be like, oh, you make movies in Ohio, and I'm like, oh, have you ever made a movie? Fuck you. Like that happens all the time, though. Like that, it's like, oh, you make them in the Midwest. It's like, you just live in New York. And you were like in a short film once or something, like go fuck yourself on your fucking subway system. So it's like, I don't totally hate New York. I mean, I would never want to live there. I worked there a lot, which may turn me off to it a bit, but there's coolness about the city and everything. But like so those coastal types, and I lived in Jersey, I lived on the coast. Those coastal types have this attitude about flyover states, which is like the greatest anger term. If you ever want to get me really mad, you use the phrase flyover states and you'll get me so powered up. But so I'm not gonna lie, like when I saw him talking that way and I saw his friggin' posts about NYC and all this stuff, and I saw his posts about his friggin' vacations in Florida and stuff, I was like, man, I am shooting a rocket up this guy's butt. That is all there is to it. It is personal now. It is personal now. My mom would send me texts throughout the day that would say like you're 200 in the lead, and I would only reply with all caps, not enough. That was all I would say. And then people would say like, you pretty much won, and I was like, that's what they want me to think. And they were like, who's they? I'm like, the mainstream media. No, so see, this is how fun it is to podcast when there's actually an event in my life other than I made a sandwich again in my kitchen again because of life and lockdown.
It was a good sandwich, though.
I did make a tuna melt today.
Yeah.
I mean, a very plain tuna melt because I didn't have any like tomato. I didn't have any like tomato. I didn't have any like green onion. I didn't have any tuna. I didn't. No, I had tuna. No,
it was just bread.
It was just bread and mayonnaise. No, I had like, tuna, because I am a consumer whore. So when I hear that people are buying up canned goods because they're scared about like world events, then all of a sudden I'm like, well, I don't have any tuna, so I buy canned goods. And then the day after, I'm like, I better start eating some of this now. Because really, like, what am I need this for? So yeah, so I decided I like tuna I like tuna sandwiches. So I was like, well, I'll make a tuna melt because I like grilled cheeses as well. And I love the idea of how odd I feel about the idea of combining dairy and fish. Sometimes it feels weird, but then it feels so right. So I made a tuna melt. I was very happy with my choices. I added to the mixture, I added Tabasco sauce, and I added some Korean yum yum sauce, which is basically like a kind of spicy mayonnaise.
Okay.
It's that orange mayonnaise looking stuff they put on like California rolls and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's called a lot of different stuff, but I've been really into the Korean comfort food stuff, and they always call it yum yum sauce or spicy mayo. That's all they call it. So and the bottle I bought at the grocery store said yum yum sauce on it. So super tasty. So I added that along with the regular mayo so that it has like this kind of different zing. And then I put my random assortment of shredded cheeses on top, and just made a grilled cheese. And the first one was a bit mesquite, but it was still good. But the second one I made turned out perfectly. So
yay.
Yeah, and then I ate two. So now and then as soon as I was done eating that tuna melt, which was like right before the official results of that thing, like as soon as I was eating that tuna melt, I was like, this is gonna help my already horribly upset stomach. So that's when, to celebrate, my big celebration moment was at 12:05 p.m. Eastern. I was like, yeah, bismuth. I took some Pepto-Bismol.
Yay.
So that's my Wednesday. Usually when Wednesdays are eventful, it's because I took a dog to the vet. or like a plumber came or something. So, oh gosh, it's like being locked up in the house. It's like, it just makes you more of like a boring adult. It's just like, yeah, the plumber came by. I didn't like his attitude. That's literally me.
Yeah.
The worst part is the plumber fixed something that like I won't even get to appreciate that it's fixed till the summer. So because it's the attachment, it's the valve to the hose that goes out to the front of the house, which needs to have no water in it during the winter. So I can't even turn the valve all open so I can go, it works. I just have to believe it works because it's closed.
Wait, couldn't you just do that and then close it again so you could know?
Yeah, but it's so cold here. I'm terrified. Like, I know it has no water in it right now, and that's the way I want to keep it. It's just easy to get nervous about that.
Sure,
Especially
sure.
because it was an afterthought. They added the piping to the front of the house after the fact. And the thing the plumber told my mother over and over again was like, you got to keep this thing from freezing. So the moment we have a cold snap,
Mhm.
we seal it and then drain it as best we can and then leave it open so that it can drain more. So
Okay. Yeah.
very exciting stuff,
Good
I
job.
know, for people out there. But yeah, so but yes, so I won, and thank you again. I know that the people who listen to this, pretty much I would guarantee every one of them probably voted.
Mhm.
And thank
Yeah.
you so much. And thank you, Michelle. I know you voted, which I appreciate. Or at least you said you
Welcome.
did, which is the same thing. I
Yeah,
can't
I mean, you'll
really.
never know for sure. So
Well, I will, because I had one of my hacker friends do an IP thing.
no, now you're
So
gonna
now,
know I voted for the animation one 3 times.
damn, actually, a couple of people told me they accidentally voted for the animation one once or
Yeah.
twice. So I almost started voting for it on a new day. I almost started going like, why not? Like, poor guy. But then I was like, what if they swoop it at the end? That would be
Yeah, everybody's
hilarious.
just waiting. They're just like, okay,
They're
we're
waiting.
gonna surprise them both with 2,000 votes right now.
I
be
actually,
cool.
like, literally as we're talking, I just got a text message that just said, when do we know if you won? It's like, I won. Just
Mhm.
text them that real quick. I don't usually answer texts during the show. But this is a victory time.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
looks sunny where you are.
it is sunny.
Isn't it always sunny in
No, but
Philadelphia?
I'm not in Philadelphia, so
That's
things
true.
like that.
You're Philadelphia adjacent.
Mhm.
But no, it has not been sunny here in forever.
Huh.
So it looks really nice where you are. You said you're having like a really warm winter.
Yeah, except then I looked at the averages and it's not that warm.
What you went on this whole tirade at me about how, like, it's not cold, it's never gonna be cold again, we're never gonna have winter, I live in a world of endless spring, fall, and summer.
Well, I did that to my dad too. And then he was like, "Oh, it's been like really average where I am." And I was like, "Wait, what's the average?" And it's like 40, 41. And I was like, "Okay, fine.
What
Everything's fine. It's
was is he
fine."
still in Florida?
No, he's
Oh,
in
he's in
he's in
Virginia now.
Virginia.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, yeah, Virginia's still pretty far south, so they stay warmer than here.
They're like almost exactly 10 degrees warmer than us.
When I
Basically the
Yeah,
exact same weather.
when I would go, to Georgia to visit friends in October, it was
Mhm.
always like going back a month in the weather.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I would get there and be like, what the hell am I wearing this coat for?
Hmm.
Um, I love my favorite was that time I had to go to Miami for work in the middle of January. It was like 2 weeks after Christmas. I think it was. And it was snowing like crazy in Dayton. And then I fly down to North Carolina for a connection, and it just started snowing there too. So we got held up like an hour. And then I get my plane takes off, and I land in Fort Lauderdale, and it's just fucking 61 degrees. And
Hmm.
like, I had brought this jacket that you can fold it up into a tiny little ball. Oh yeah, because I accidentally left it at your
Yeah.
home once.
Yeah, the
You
little
mailed it
tiny
back to me
jacket that I
after you
couldn't.
couldn't figure out how
Yeah.
to pack it, because you just
Yeah.
stuff it, but you didn't
I
want to
don't
hurt it, I
know. I didn't
guess.
understand.
But I brought that because people were like, that's a weird jacket. And I'm like, I'm going to need it, and then I'm not going to need it. So that's why
Hmm.
I brought it. But it was so
Yeah.
funny because so I'm in Florida, like hanging out, and it's like 61 degrees, 62 degrees, and people are wearing coats.
It's cold for them.
It was so funny. I'm wearing like shorts and a tank top. I'm like, oh man, this is fucking dope. So, but no, so you were wrong about all your complaints about the winter this year?
Well, I'm not. No, I am correct that we are definitely getting less snow. We're not getting like any snow, but it looks like temperature if it's higher than average, isn't that much higher than average. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty standard. So I'm just a terrible person. But I heard that the big the Arctic thing that comes down and makes it cold.
The polar vortex.
Yeah, that one. I heard it might come back and I got really excited. so excited that when I tell my dad about how cold I am, he's not gonna care because
Well, I mean, the polar vortex. I remember that first time that I became aware of the polar vortex. That was
Mhm.
when we were filming Awkward Thanksgiving in March, and all of a sudden the wind chill was like 11 degrees,
Yeah.
which is like not comfortable to film in outdoors. Like I was operating the camera and my hands were turning red and my fingers were losing mobility. It was very unpleasant.
Mhm.
See here, it's been colder every day basically than they've predicted. Yesterday they were like, you'll probably get to 37. We barely got over freezing.
Wow.
So it's cold here.
Yeah.
I have a secret method to know how cold it is. Some water accumulated on at the back of my house I have these plastic bins, big plastic tubs
Mhm.
full of firewood. So I have them in a sealed plastic bin to keep them dry, when it rains and stuff. But but there's no point in bringing them inside. It's firewood. Um, you look like I'm insane. Um, but so I have firewood in these plastic bins. Well, a little water got into the lid of one of those plastic bins. So every morning when I get up, I look at it, and if it's frozen, then I'm like, oh, it's really cold out today. And if it's
Mhm.
water, I'm like, I'll live.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's pretty much my life.
Yeah. That's good.
So, but we also have had quite a bit of snow already, but it has been a little
Mhm.
while now since we've had a good snow. The last really good snow we had was on Christmas, where it wasn't like a ton of snow, but it just wouldn't stop snowing. It was really beautiful. It was for
I'm
me. I
sure.
needed a good Christmas.
I know. I know you did.
I needed that.
I know. I'm glad that you got it.
So I'm sorry that you're not getting it though.
It's okay.
Is it?
Yeah, because I don't deserve it. None of us deserve it, so we're just not gonna get it anymore.
Fine. It's Michelle for you. Um, I just want to mention really quick, one of our listeners last week I went way out into talking about freedom of speech
Mm-hmm.
and going into the history of the Charlie Hebdo terrorist attack and stuff like that. And I don't regret it. It was a very good show for me just to be able to get that off my chest. I felt like it was really important to share that with people. Um, they commented, I guess they hadn't listened to the full episode yet. Apparently, I mean, I didn't even think about the fact that like the day after we recorded it was the whole Capitol Hill thing and the Twitter thing and all that stuff. So a lot of people thought that our episode was like in reference to current events.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Yeah.
were very defensive because I guess they thought I was taking a political stance, which is what you said would happen.
It
BTW.
is. It is.
So, so I wanted to give you credit. You assumed the worst of people and you were right. Congratulations.
Yay.
I mean,
To
no,
be
yeah, I'm sorry.
sorry.
No.
You could to be totally honest, all the last year has taught me is that maybe I need to give people less credit. So
It was a long year. So, is that the
oh.
t-shirt, the new t-shirt we need to make for the store? Is just the drawing of you with that look you're making with your head turned to the side with your finger wagging. It just says, all I've really realized is I need to give people less credit. And then it just says like your name and address and social security number, like as the attribution to the quote.
Yep.
But no, but you were totally right that just the idea of freedom of speech has been politicized, like most things really at this
Mm-hmm.
point, has been politicized so much that it's like if you value freedom of speech, people pretty much assume that you're taking a certain very specific political direction.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate. There was a time when valuing freedom of speech was almost wholly a liberal effort
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in this country. So it's just kind of weird to see it flip so often over the years.
I mean, to be honest, I don't think it's weird. I think it is basically whoever has opinions that are not as liked, or are less mainstream. are
Mhm.
the people who are going to be advocating for freedom of speech.
I mean, I see that logic very well. I made the mistake of assuming that people believed things based on values and not based on just circumstance.
No. And I think we know that because there's so much evidence. It's like people don't want, a certain group of people to be, put down or bullied or anything, but then they'll do that to another group.
Hmm.
Not because not because they actually don't like that methodology. They just want their group to not have to deal with it.
Mm.
So, I'm sorry.
So, do you want to plug so people can subscribe to your newsletter? You know, where you're gonna drop all the facts.
No. No.
But no, so I mean, I guess my point in bringing that up is just to say that I am still, I am, and probably forever will be a free speech absolutist. So, but I appreciate anybody who commented and shared their opinions and shared their thoughts. I do appreciate it, and no one called me names or anything. They made a few assumptions about me that I had to correct in a friendly way,
Hmm.
and that's it. So, just a friendly way, like, listen, dead man, here's what here's what I think. But no, it wasn't like a big deal or anything, but it did kind of make me go, whoa,
Hmm.
okay then.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, fair enough. So, but what's really important is that when we're done here, Michelle is going to a party.
Oh, right. Oh, man.
Did you
Yeah.
forget? Were you lucky
No,
enough to
it
forget, or
no, because I already bought food for it. So if it gets canceled again, I'm just really fucked.
all right. Would you order this time?
Oh, I didn't order anything. I just went to H Mart and like they have like like a supermarket has like pre-made foods and
Mhm.
stuff. So I just got some. I got some little Korean pancakes, but we don't know what's in them because they're variety. And then um and then I got like some sort of noodly thing, and then I got some tofu that had some sort of sauce on it.
I love the idea of, like, I just imagine like a very like Asian package, like over, like trying too hard Asian package that just says noodly thing with like a person on the front with like the two fingers up and stuff.
Yeah.
Noodly thing. It's just like in English, but then the rest of the packaging is all in Japanese.
It's so just like a thing of saran wrap with like some sort of plate underneath it, and it's like Korean vegetarian noodles in like really boring font, and then it has the thing where nutrition facts. So
Well, I hope you enjoy your weeb dinner.
it's all Korean food.
I think that's basically weeb.
I think that's racist.